Izuku Goes to a Convention by PrinceZukotheEmo. Read by My Lost and Found. Summary. Midoriya goes to a convention for the first time after becoming the #1 hero. He doesn't think this year will be any different from the last. Of course, he's wrong. In hindsight, Izuku really should have realized things this year would be different. It had been years since he first started going to conventions. Ever since he was a kid, he had been attending the hero cons. He could remember dragging his mom along as he flitted between stalls, trying to convince her to buy way more hero merch than he could ever need. He even continued to go when he was a teenager, which was when he started getting into cosplay. He always loved being able to be someone else for a day. It was the only place no one saw him as a quirkless nobody. This, of course, changed after he went to UA and finally made friends who saw him for who he was. He no longer relied on conventions as his only safe space, but his love for them never changed. That was why, even after he'd become the #1 hero, he didn't think that anything about conventions would change. For the past 3 years, some sort of attack or crime overseas had prevented him from attending, but this year, he was ready. Izuku finishes the last touches of makeup, and he steps back to observe the final result in his mirror. He's wearing a pink wig. His face is covered with a bejeweled bird mask. He has a white jumpsuit on. His costume is based off one of the new upcoming heroes he was a big fan of, called Sakura Tsunumi. Her quirk was, as her hero name suggested, the ability to create cherry blossoms and move them with her mind. She was amazing at rescue work. And even in battle, she could make the flowers sharp as knives, or even use them to restrain somebody from moving. With a final turn to make sure everything is in place, Izuku grabs his phone and heads out. Arriving at the huge building that held the con, Izuku makes his way inside. He bought a normal day pass on his way inside, despite the fact he already had a VIP pass, as he was going to be a guest speaker. He wanted to enjoy the con as a fan, like he had before becoming a hero. The minute he steps in the door, a smile spreads on his face. Around him is the familiar sight of hundreds of people walking around in bright costumes, the buzz of chatter and vendors advertising their products. With a bound in his step, he makes his way to the first stall he sees. To his delight, he sees the stall is selling quite a few of his classmates' merch. He quickly purchases a Creati headband, charge bolt socks, and froppy gloves. "Oh my god, I love your costume!" squeals a voice, causing Izuku to turn around. He sees a girl in an Uravity costume staring at him. When he realizes the statement was directed at him, he blushes and frantically waves his hands around. Thank you, but your costume is even cooler. Your hair looks exactly like Uravity's, and your costume is spot on." The girl smiles at this. "Thank you! Can we take a photo? It'll look great for my Instagram! If you're cool with that, of course." "Definitely!" They huddle together and both make peace signs at the camera. "Thanks!" the girl exclaims, and then gets a look of realization on her face. "I haven't even introduced myself yet. My name's Izumi." She extends her hand. Izuku shakes it and smiles. "No worries. I didn't introduce myself either. So really the blame goes both ways. My name is Midoriya. Nice to meet you." "Hey, you have the same name as the hero Deku. That's so cool." Izuku laughs nervously. "Haha, what a coincidence. There is definitely no connection between us, though. I'm definitely not Deku." "Right. Well, anyway, you should follow me on Instagram so I can send you the photo." She shows him her phone so he can read her account name. Izuku takes his phone out of his pocket and follows the account. "Thanks for the photo," Izumi says as she waves. Izuku waves back and makes his way over to the next stall. It wasn't until Izumi met up with her friends that she checked her phone to send her new follower the photos did she realize just who it was that followed her. With a gasp, she notices there's a new message from them. She opened it, and a winking emoji is all that is sent. She clicks on their profile in disbelief. The verified checkmark remains by the username Deku pro hero. She grins and sends back a thumbs up emoji. This was officially the best day ever. Izuku was wandering around when he spots a group of people gathered around something. Curious, he makes his way over. "What's going on?" he asks a tall girl, assuming she can see over the crowd better than he can. She turns around. "The Hero Flower Field is signing autographs! We're all waiting to get one," she replies. Izuku recognizes the name. They were a pretty famous hero who debuted last year. He remembers watching their debut at the sports festival and writing down an entry on them in his journal. They use flowers so efficiently to capture villains with minimal casualties. He was definitely a big fan of theirs. "That's so cool!" Izuku shouts excitedly. The girl smiles at him in response. "I know! Are you a fan as well?" Izuku nods enthusiastically. "Yeah, I've seen almost every video there is about them. Their quirk is so useful, and they use it very efficiently." He continues to ramble, and the girl chuckles. "Wow, you're definitely a fan. Did you see the video where—" She and Izuku talk for the rest of the time they wait in line. Before they know it, they're at the front of the line. They take a photo together with the hero, making lots of silly poses. Izuku gives her his number so they can exchange photos. Izuku is by the food stall when he runs into a pink-haired girl, causing her to drop numerous items all over the floor. Scrambling to help her gather it up, he apologizes profusely. As he makes eye contact with her, he gasps in surprise. Standing in front of him is the hero he happens to be currently cosplaying as. Her eyes widen as she realizes what he's wearing. Her face breaks into a grin. "I love your costume! I can't believe there are people dressing up as me already! I barely just debuted! You can't believe how happy this makes me!" She enthuses. "Wow, thank you! It's so cool to meet you! You're an amazing hero! I remember watching the time you saved a whole building of people with a creative use of different flowers. You were so professional despite only just starting your hero career!" Izuku exclaims enthusiastically. "Ah, thank you, but really, it's all in a day's work for a hero. I'm really nothing special." Zuko stares at her in disbelief. "That's not true!" he exclaims. "Heroes do a ton of work, more than what it seems to the public. Not only do they have to keep a calm facade while facing danger, but they also have so many expectations placed upon them. I think you're doing a great job." She smiles at him, flustered. "I never thought about it like that. Thank you. It was great meeting you," she says. They take a selfie together, and she posts it on her Instagram with the caption, "Found my twin, lol." A string of buzzes coming from his phone shocks Izuku out of his trance of sorting through the various All Might hoodies. Shoto. "Where are you? We're going on in 10 minutes. Shoto. "Izuku, look at your phone for once, and please hurry up." Shoto. "You better be on your way." Shoto. "I'm confiscating your All Might merch if you are not here within the next 5 minutes. Izuku looks at the time and cringes. He has 7 minutes to make it or he's going to be late. Oops. 3 minutes later, Izuku skids by the door. "Made it!" He cheers in relief. If any of the cameras caught him using his quirk, at least he can show them his pro hero license. Even if, technically, he wasn't supposed to use it for that. Oh well. Rushing towards the door, the guard gives him a glare. "Authorized personnel only," he says in a monotone voice. Right, 1 second, I'm sure I have my pass here somewhere." He rifles through his pockets. The guard gives him a disbelieving look. "Kid, I know you're probably just excited and want to meet the heroes, but you have to wait in the other room with everyone else," the guard says coldly. No, I promise my badge has to be here somewhere." He keeps looking, but then he remembers he left it on a counter by the door, in hopes of not forgetting it as he left. Of course, it didn't exactly help. He looked up at the guard. There was no way he was going to believe. "Oops, I'm sorry, I left it at home. Can I go inside anyway? Haha." Izuku starts to panic. He has to go on stage in less than 5 minutes. Definitely not enough time to go back home, super speed or not. What he doesn't think to is simply take off his mask, as, of course, in the moment he forgets he's one of the most recognizable heroes in Japan. He does think to message Shoto, though. Izuku. So, I may or may not have left my pass at home. Shoto. Of course you did. It's not like you really need it, though, so what's the problem? Izuku. Well, the guard won't let me inside. Shoto. Does he not recognize you? Izuku. No? The door then opens, revealing a slightly irritated Todoroki. He sighs as he sees Izuku. Honestly, Izuku, you didn't think that maybe, just maybe, you should take off the mask that's covering your face before asking the guard to let you inside. Oh, Izuku says sheepishly and rubs the back of his neck. He takes off the mask and smiles at the guard. The guard's eyes go wide. Oh my god, you're Deku! He exclaims in shock. He then realizes that he just told the number one hero that he was not allowed to go inside. I'm so sorry, please forgive me, he shouts. Izuku waves his hands around frantically. No, it's my fault. I forgot my pass and you were just doing your job, Izuku says in a hurry. Todoroki clears his throat and points at his watch. Izuku realizes they now just have less than a minute to go and get on stage. He hurries inside the door. As he passes, he shouts some final apologies and then jogs to catch up with Todoroki. The room is filled with people rushing around frantically, and as he enters, two of them run up to him. Deku, you're finally here, the older-looking one says as he hands him a weird microphone. Izuku hurriedly sets up the microphone, and not a moment later, he's being pushed to the stage. He steps onto the stage, just barely managing not to trip. He waves awkwardly at the hundreds of eyes staring at him. Bright overhead lights shine down on him. As hundreds of flashes from cameras go off. He has been to many public events before, as it was just part of the job, but he doesn't think he will ever get used to them. He sits down on the couch beside Todoroki, and the interview begins. Hello, everybody! Thanks for joining us at the HeroCon once again this year. This time we have two very special guests. Please welcome pro heroes Deku and Shoto, the interviewer announces. Thank you for having us, Todoroki says politely. I see you're embracing the convention spirit, Deku, the interviewer says, gesturing to Izuku's attire. I am! I used to go to loads of conventions as a kid. I always loved dressing up, and this year was no different, Izuku says excitedly. Would I be right to assume you're cosplaying the hero Sakura Tsuemura? The interviewer asks. You would, Izuku answers. The interviewer smiles. He continues to ask Izuku and Todoroki several questions until the timer runs out. Well, that's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining me today, the interviewer says, the last part directed at the two heroes. The video of the interview goes viral within minutes. Everyone is surprised at Deku's costume. When Sakura Tsunemori sees the video, she is shocked. She remembers the person she ran into earlier. She was shocked that he was the hero Deku. She had a conversation with the number one hero, and she didn't even know it. She nearly cried when she remembered he had said he was a fan of hers. She couldn't fathom how the number one hero would even know of her existence, let alone be a fan of hers. Today, it was definitely a day she would never forget. When Izuku realized what a commotion his appearance at the convention had made, he was shocked. He, of course, knew that being the number one hero meant that he would get a lot of attention, but for some reason, he always forgot that applied to him. Oh well, he thought. He'd had fun and met some new fun people. Besides, supporting less well-known heroes was a good thing. He decided that he was definitely going to do the exact same thing next year. Maybe he would even get some of the other heroes he knew to join him. He grinned when he thought about the chaos that would cause. Yes, he was definitely going to do that. Okay, sorry for disappearing off the face of the earth for I don't know, was it a month? It feels like it's been a month, but I had exams and I was studying really hard and my like backlog of pre-recorded and pre-edited videos just dried up and I forgot to say anything about it. Like I didn't forget about podficking or anything. It was just that I had a lot of stressful studying to do, but I'm back. I'm trying to like find a new upload schedule that works cuz like when I first started posting on YouTube at least, I had like a backlog of podfics that I had posted on AO3 but just not posted on YouTube. So I had like a whole bunch, so I was able to do like every weekday or whatever. But then, I ran out. So I don't know what schedule I'm doing. I'm trying for the like 3 days a week that I had switched to when I realized my backlogs were running really low. But who knows if that's gonna work? I have school. I also write fanfics, like like Drifting Through the Cosmos. That big like podfic that I'm doing. That's my fanfic. I wrote that, and I'm keeping weekly updates with it for the actual writing of the fanfic. So a lot of things to do. We'll see how the schedule works out. I just wanted to say thank you all for watching my videos. Or listening to them. I guess it's listening. I just have like a flat thumbnail. But anyway, thanks so much. I hope you enjoy them. Bye.